When you speak to Allah, there is no pressure to be perfect. You don't have to memorize long poetic phrases or try to sound impressive. Allah is not looking at how polished your sentences are, how strong your voice is, or how fluent you sound. What He looks at is your heart. Even the simplest words, whispered sincerely, carry more weight than the most eloquent speech without feeling. You can talk to Him in your own language, in the way that feels natural to you. You can tell Him your struggles, your fears, and your hopes in words that only you understand. Even if your voice breaks, even if you cannot finish your sentence, even if your dua comes out as tears instead of words, Allah still understands. He already knows every detail hidden inside you, but He loves when you open up to Him and share it with Him directly. This is what makes dua so beautiful. It is not a performance, it is a conversation. It is your heart speaking to the one who created it. And the more honest and simple you are, the more connected you feel. Because Allah does not need your perfection. He wants your sincerity. Sometimes people hold back because they think their problems are too small or they feel embarrassed to admit their mistakes. But Allah already knows the fears you hide, the pain you carry, and the sins you regret. He is Al-Sami, the all-hearing, and Al-Basir, the all-seeing. Nothing escapes Him. When you open your heart honestly, you are not informing Him of something new. You are showing Him your humility, your dependence, and your trust. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would speak to Allah with sincerity, teaching us that what matters is not formality but truthfulness. Even if your voice shakes, even if your words are broken, Allah understands every whisper. In fact, your tears and your pauses often say more than words ever could. Honest dua creates closeness. It removes the barrier between you and your Creator. When you cry out, Ya Allah, I'm weak. I can't do this alone. Help me. You are placing yourself exactly where you need to be, under His mercy and care. And that is when you feel His comfort, His strength, and His love surrounding you. So don't wait to find the right words. Don't hold back because you feel unworthy. Just speak. Speak to Allah the way a child speaks to a loving parent, openly, sincerely, and without fear of judgment. The more honest you are, the lighter your heart becomes, and the more you realize that Allah is always near. When you ask Allah, never hold back out of embarrassment or the thought that your request is too small. Allah is the Lord of the heavens and the earth, the one who created galaxies and mountains, yet He still loves when His servant turns to Him for the tiniest of needs. That's because every detail of your life, whether you consider it big or small, is in His control. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us that nothing is too small to ask from Allah, even something as simple as a shoelace. Imagine that, something so small, so ordinary, yet still worthy of being asked from Him. Why? Because the moment you practice asking Allah for small things, your heart learns to rely on Him for everything. It builds the habit of turning to Him first, instead of treating Him like a last resort, only in moments of crisis. Think about it this way. If you can't rely on Him for the tiny matters of your life, how will you truly rely on Him for the huge matters? Each time you ask for something small, like finding something you misplaced or ease in a daily task, you remind your heart that nothing happens without His permission. Even your next breath, even the food you eat, even the strength to move your hand, all of it is a gift from Him. This kind of reliance transforms the way you live. Life no longer feels random. Gratitude becomes stronger, and your connection with Allah becomes deeper. You begin to see His care in everything, from the grand blessings to the smallest details. And once your heart learns this truth, you walk with peace, because you know you are never left alone in any matter, big or small. When you only ask Allah for the big matters, you risk treating Him like a last resort. But when you ask Him for both the big and the small, you turn every moment of your life into a reminder of His mercy. You learn that no door opens without His permission, no leaf falls without His knowledge, and no need, no matter how small, is beneath His care. Think about it. If you turn to Him for something as small as finding your lost keys, how much more peace will your heart feel when you turn to Him for the heavier matters of life? The more you practice this, the stronger your connection becomes because you realize you are never walking alone. Asking Allah for both big and small is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of love and trust. It shows that you know He is the source of everything and that your dependence on Him is complete. And when your heart lives in this state, you'll see doors open in your life that you never even imagined possible. Too many hearts fall into the habit of only remembering Allah when life feels unbearable. We cry to Him when we are broken, but when life is smooth, we forget Him. Imagine if you had a friend who only came to you when they needed money, comfort, or help, and the moment they felt fine, they disappeared. How would you feel? Wouldn't you long for a friend who remembers you in both ease and difficulty? Allah loves when His servant calls on Him not just in desperation, but in gratitude too. He is not only the Lord of your darkest nights, He is also the Lord of your brightest days. When you whisper thanks to Him in times of comfort, your heart becomes soft and connected. When you speak to Him in patience during hardship, your faith becomes strong and unshakable. Consistency in turning to Allah builds a bond unlike any other. It makes dua feel natural, not forced. It makes prayer feel like home, not a burden. And when the storms of life suddenly hit, you won't feel like a stranger knocking on a door. You'll feel like a beloved servant whose Lord has always been near. And this is the beauty. When you make talking to Allah part of your daily life, in the small moments, in the quiet mornings, in the moments of joy, His help comes swiftly when you truly need it. You won't have to search for Him in panic because your heart is already attached to Him. And there is nothing sweeter than knowing that whether life is heavy or light, Allah is always the one you return to. Your deepest healing won't be found in drowning yourself with distractions, in waiting for people to comfort you, or in forcing yourself to appear strong when your heart is breaking. True healing comes in the most humbling position a human can ever be in. Your forehead pressed to the ground in sujud. At that moment, you are not just performing a ritual, you are standing at the doorway of mercy, pouring your soul into the most powerful conversation you could ever have. In sujud, all the masks you wear for the world fall away. You don't have to pretend to be okay. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't need the right words because Allah already knows what is inside you. He hears the cries you never say out loud, and He understands the tears that never reach your lips. And yet, when you whisper to Him in that lowly position, your brokenness becomes your strength because you are closest to the one who can mend you completely. Sujud teaches you that healing is not in hiding your pain, but in surrendering it. It is the place where you hand over your burdens and admit, Ya Allah, I cannot carry this on my own. And that surrender is not weakness. It is the doorway to strength because the moment you let go, Allah takes over. Every second in sujud is a chance to empty your heart of sorrow and fill it with peace. It is the place where the heaviest weights are lifted and the tightest knots are untied. And when you rise from the ground, you rise lighter, calmer, and stronger than before. Not because your problems disappeared, but because you handed them to the one who never fails His servants. This is the place where you can drop the mask you show to the world. You don't need to hide your pain, your weakness, or your fears. You can whisper to Allah everything you cannot say to anyone else. Tell Him what keeps you awake at night. Tell Him what breaks your heart. Tell Him what scares you about tomorrow. And ask Him to lift what feels impossible to carry. He is Al-Latif, the most gentle, and He responds with a mercy that no human can match. Many doors in life stay shut, not because Allah has abandoned you, but because your heart is still locked. Sujud is the key that unlocks it. The moment you put your head on the ground and admit, Ya Allah, I am weak, but You are strong. I cannot, but You can. you are opening yourself to His mercy. And when the heart opens, the doors you never thought possible begin to open too. Think about it. The very act of lowering yourself completely in sujud raises your soul higher than you can imagine. It teaches you that true strength comes from surrender and true healing comes from submission. Every tear that falls in sujud is not wasted. It is collected by the one who sees, hears, and knows everything inside you. So the next time you feel like breaking, don't run to the world first. Run to the prayer mat. Put your head down before the one who never turns you away. Because when you pour your pain into sujud, Allah pours His mercy into your life, and He will open doors that you never imagined could open. It's very easy to raise your hands in dua, but deep down still wonder, will Allah really answer me? Does He even hear me? Am I worthy of His response? That tiny seed of doubt is what steals the sweetness of dua and weakens the peace it brings. But Allah Himself has given us His promise in the Quran. Call upon me, I will respond to you. Surah Ghafir 40:60. When the King of Kings makes a promise, there is no room for doubt. When you ask Allah, ask with the certainty that your prayer has already been heard. The moment your lips move, the moment your heart whispers, it has reached Him. Sometimes the answer comes quickly, sometimes it comes later, and sometimes the answer is not what you asked for, but something far better that you could not see at the time. Think of a child who asks for something harmful, not knowing the danger. A loving parent doesn't give it, not because they ignored the request, but because they protected the child. In the same way, Allah may delay or redirect your dua because He knows what you do not know. His wisdom is greater than your vision, and His plan is greater than your imagination. So when you ask, don't just hope, trust. Trust that Allah is already preparing the right thing at the right time. Trust that your dua is never wasted, even if you don't see its effects yet. Trust that every sincere call you make is either answered in this world, saved for the next, or used to protect you from harm you didn't even realize was coming. Talking to Allah with trust transforms your heart. It removes the anxiety of waiting. It heals the disappointment of delays, and it fills you with hope that whatever comes is for your best. And when you live in this state of certainty, you will begin to see doors open in your life in ways you could never plan or predict, because you believed in the promise of the one who never breaks His word. Talking to Allah is one of the most powerful things you can do, but dua is not meant to replace effort. It is meant to guide it and bless it. If you ask Allah for success but spend your days wasting time, how will you see results? If you ask Allah for marriage but make no effort to build good character or prepare yourself to be a loving spouse, how will you be ready when the opportunity arrives? If you ask Allah for peace but surround yourself with toxic habits and harmful company, how can your heart truly rest? Dua without action is like planting seeds in the soil but never watering them. The seeds have potential, but they will not grow unless you nurture them. In the same way, Allah opens doors for those who sincerely ask, but you must have the courage to walk through those doors when they appear. Think of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They would make dua with deep sincerity, but they also worked, struggled, and sacrificed for their goals. Their dua gave them strength, and their effort turned those prayers into reality. That balance is what brings results. So when you raise your hands to Allah, also move your feet in the direction of your prayer. If you're asking for knowledge, start reading, studying, and learning. If you're asking for rizq, go out and seek it with honesty and effort. If you are asking for healing, take the steps that bring recovery while trusting Allah to put barakah in those efforts. Remember, dua is not an escape from responsibility. It is the energy that fuels responsibility. It aligns your actions with Allah's guidance and fills your journey with blessings you could never achieve on your own. When you combine sincere dua with sincere effort, miracles happen. The doors that seemed locked suddenly open. The paths that seemed blocked become clear, and the results are far greater than what your effort alone could achieve. That is the beauty of walking with Allah. You ask, you work, and He completes what you cannot. Even when your prayers seem unanswered, never let your tongue fall silent in calling upon Allah. Just because you don't see the results immediately doesn't mean your dua has been ignored. Allah hears every whisper of your heart, every tear that falls, every word you struggle to say. But His timing is not like ours. He knows the perfect moment to give and the perfect moment to withhold. Sometimes Allah delays because what you asked for is not ready for you yet, or you are not ready for it. He may want to shape you, strengthen you, or protect you before granting it. Sometimes He withholds completely because what you are asking for could harm you in ways you cannot see. And sometimes He simply loves the sound of your voice in dua. He loves the closeness it brings. So He keeps you in that state of turning to Him until your heart softens and your faith grows deeper. The key is to never stop talking to Him. The more you speak to Allah, the more your heart learns to rely on Him. The more you rely on Him, the lighter your burdens feel, even if nothing outside you has changed yet. And slowly, you begin to witness miracles, doors opening when you least expect them, help arriving in ways you could never imagine, peace filling places where fear once lived. Dua is not only a means to receive what you desire, it is a bridge that connects you to the One who created you, the One who knows every secret of your heart, every thought you never speak, every tear you cry in the dark. It is not just about requests and answers, it is about building a living, breathing relationship with Allah, the One who loves you more than anyone else ever could. So never let silence replace your prayers, even if you feel tired. Even if you feel like nothing is changing, keep talking, keep asking, keep pouring your heart out, because every dua is heard, every dua is treasured, and none of them go to waste. Sometimes the answer comes in this world, sometimes it is saved for the next, and sometimes Allah replaces your request with something far better, something you could never have thought to ask for yourself. His wisdom always exceeds your understanding. Remember this, when you make dua, you are not speaking into the air. You are speaking to the Lord of the worlds, the one who holds every solution, every cure, every opportunity, and every door you seek. And when you trust Him with your words, you will discover that every dua is answered in the way, at the time, and with the perfection that only Allah can choose for you.